Hello my friends, this is Linol Anderson here with you guys with a brand new YouTube BitChute video. And in today's video, my first video of 2026, we got a lot to talk about because we had a major event take place. Just as I told you in my final video of 2025, I told you 2026 is going to start with major war, okay? And it only took 3 days for a major world event to happen, and that is the United States invading Venezuela and capturing their leader, Maduro, and taking him back to New York to face charges for terrorism and drugs and all this stuff, and pretty much taking control of the Venezuelan government. What is this all about? Why are they doing it? What comes next? And what is the ultimate end goal of all this, my friends? Well, that's what we're going to be speaking about in today's video. Because let me assure you, this is all part of an NWO agenda. And it's all part of the great matrix reset that we're currently going through and the financial reset agenda. All right, so let's just get right into it. Before we do, just encourage you guys to hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed today's video. As I say, subscribe to survive. And also smash that like button because I am heavily shadow banned here on YouTube. And people ain't seeing my videos. So maybe if you hit the like button, you might get to see my videos. And also, maybe consider becoming a member of this channel too for exclusive content you don't get anywhere else. Link is in the description or on my main page. If you just scroll down, you'll see a sneak peek of all the videos and whatnot that you get to see. Alright, now let's just get right into it. So as I told you guys, things are going to kick off big time with a massive event. And I said maybe it's Venezuela, maybe it's Iran, Russia, Ukraine, but something's going to happen, and we knew this because of, there you go, I know I've been speaking about it a lot, but I'll continue speaking on it. The Economist 2026 World Ahead magazine tells us what's going to happen the next year ahead. And we see there was war all over the place on the cover of that magazine. All right, we got war everywhere. And of course, we have that birthday cake there, right? 250, because it's America's 250th birthday this year. So that's why you have the birthday cake. America is turning 250. And then we got a fist. And I told you guys in my last video, that's a communist fist, right? And there's handcuffs on it, chained to the birthday cake. All right? And of course, Maduro is a communist, right? So it has something to do with Venezuela. So it could be that the Economist was telling us that the arrest of Maduro was going to happen. But what I fear, and we're going to get to this a little bit later on in the video, is that maybe it's foreshadowing that the United States is going to have something happen to them in the midst of all this, some kind of Black Swan event. Okay? Because maybe it's America, because the American flag is in the background. Maybe America will be in chains by the time this is all said and done. We'll get to that a little bit later on a possible terror plot that might unfold. But I want to get really into what's going on here, why it's happening, expose some of the false narratives going around, or I guess the mainstream narrative, okay, and expose the real reason why this is going on, okay? So first off, who originally funded that Rothschilds magazine? Well, my friends, it is the Rothschilds. That's right, The Economist was originally funded by the Rothschild family. And let me tell you something right now. The world is a stage. All the world events you see, they're all staged events. They're all in cahoots behind the scenes, okay? And they're all working together to form a one world government, part of the New World Order agenda. Okay, and throughout the hundreds of years now, you could trace all major wars back to the Rothschild family. Okay, all these major events that kick off the wars, usually the Rothschilds are behind it. Now, isn't that interesting? Because the day of the strikes, guess who was quick to post on his X account? None other than Nat Rothschild. I believe that's Jacob Rothschild's son. All right, so take a little look.
And I just want to enjoy today and this week and this month and even the rest of this year, savouring this moment. So I don't really think about the next step. This is a great achievement.
There you go, saying well done, Donald Trump. So if this isn't evidence to all the people who think they're truthers, who still support Zion Don, if this isn't evidence to you yet that he's just a puppet for the true powers that be, then I don't know what is. If you support what Trump did, you stand with Nat Rothschild and the Rothschild family. The same guys who predicted this on their Economist magazine. Not just this year for the World Ahead 2026, but it's very interesting because in the World Ahead 2024, this is back in 2024, we had this cover. This is 2 years ago. Trump, a blackout silhouette of Trump about to blow out Venezuela and South America. See, his lips are pointing right at South America, a blackout. Well, what happened? Trump was bragging about how they used some new special technology that caused a blackout there. Many places, I believe, we still don't have power or Wi-Fi and stuff. Okay, they used technology. Trump bragged himself to cause a blackout when they did these strikes. So you got a Trump blackout coming to Venezuela on the World Ahead 2024. And then with what we saw with the 2026 magazine, it was obvious. Okay, this has been part of the plan for a long, long time. And as soon as it happens, Nat Rothschild says, well done to his puppet, Trump. Because Trump is a Rothschild Zionist puppet who's just following orders and following a script. Okay? So that's what's going on here. So why? Why did he do this? Well, the obvious reason is this is all about oil, resources, money, the petro dollar, okay, because Maduro was supposedly threatening the petro dollar, working with China and Russia, selling the oil not in US dollars, but in other currencies, wanting to join BRICS, okay? So that's kind of the narrative that's playing out for why this truly happened, okay? But I think it goes even deeper than that, which we'll get to later. But that is one of the major reasons this is happening. So I'm actually going to leave a video at the very end of today's video that's going to explain things much deeper in much more detail about the history of all this and kind of the detailed specifics of why this is all happening. So stick around to that, but I can assure you guys that it's all connected to the financial reset that I've been telling you guys is coming, okay? Because Venezuela produces like the second most amount of oil in the world, I believe, okay? Yeah, but not only that, they got lots of silver, they got lots of gold, and we see everything that's been going on with silver and gold recently, right? So there's all these things happening with Venezuela and their resources. So it's obvious there is a deeper meaning than what they want you to believe. What do they want you to believe? Oh, he's some kind of terrorist leading terrorist groups and drugs. Why are you attacking Venezuela? The drugs aren't coming from Venezuela, okay? Less than 1% of the world's cocaine comes from there. That's a fact. It's not about drugs. And since when does Trump care about drugs? He literally just pardoned a drug lord, okay, not too long ago. Okay, they don't care about drugs. The CIA and other aspects of the deep state government in the United States have been running these drug operations. In cahoots with China, all the fentanyl coming in. That's where it's all coming from. They don't stop shit because they don't care about it. They're the ones who started the war on drugs. That's just an excuse. Okay, this is actually all about the resources, but not only that, but you're going to see that this is part of the agenda to form a North American Union. That's right, don't forget about the North American Union, my friends, because just today, Trump is now threatening he's not going to just stop with Venezuela, but of course he wants Mexico. See? It's right there in the headlines. He wants Mexico. He's threatening Colombia, Cuba. Of course, he's still making cracks about Canada, the 51st state. Those aren't jokes. He wants Canada. And of course, also, just today as well, he's still after Greenland, saying we need Greenland too. Now, this is a long-standing agenda that goes back many, many years, my friends. 20 years, maybe 50 years, that the powers that be, the elites, wanted a North American Union with Mexico, United States, Canada, Greenland, all part of what's known as the North American Union. You've got the European Union, then you have the North American Union, and then the South American Union. But now there's talk, now that Trump has seized Venezuela, that, and now he's threatening Cuba and Colombia, maybe they'll just make that all part of the North American Union as well, just one big union. But of course, this is another step towards the NWO One World Government agenda. It's pretty much going to be like districts, okay? Like in the Hunger Games. You're going to have the North American Union, the European Union, an African Union, one in Asia. That's where this is all going towards, okay? And of course, he's not happy with just Venezuela. He wants it all. So that's why he's making those fresh threats right now, him and his team. All right, so that is also what this is about. So it's about a matrix reset, all this chaos going on, and all these conflicts, because trust me, they ain't over yet. We're going to speak about that pretty soon here, but there is going to be retaliation. It's not like this is all going to go away. Trump sees Venezuela and that's it. No. This is just the beginning of the madness. But we're going to see a financial crash as the results of all this. Because remember, on The Economist magazine, it shows January and the market crashing. And I told you guys in my last video that that's because of war. So you're going to see that in the coming days here. Things might get a little bit messy in the month of January and going on throughout the rest of the year, because that's what war brings. But that's what they want, because they're in the process of switching over to the new digital financial system, and of course digital IDs, CBDCs, and all that kind of stuff are going to be coming along with it, because they need that in place by 2030, right? Agenda 2030. It's critical to their agenda. So that's why you're seeing all this stuff play out. All right? So now I want to talk about what comes next, because it's kind of concerning, to say the least, that since I think this isn't the end of it, I think there's going to be some kind of retaliation, and it may come in the form of a terrorist type attack or something like that. All right, my friends? So I wanted to show you a video clip from Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel. And he said this 12 hours before the strikes happened in Venezuela. And he's pretty much brings up Venezuela and how Hamas and Hezbollah have infiltrated Venezuela, and how the world isn't a safe place. So take a look.
We've had an unbelievable success, and by degrading Iran, which was a first-rate power, now it's a second-rate or third-rate power. They were throwing their weight all over the place, exporting terrorism, not only to every part of the Middle East, but to Venezuela. They're in cahoots with the Maduro regime, They're exporting terrorism to America, to the American hemisphere, and then they want these Hezbollah and Hamas to get their guys into the United States. So Hamas and Iran and its proxies are a threat not only to us, but to Israel, all America's allies in the Middle East, and to America itself.
All right. So there you go. That's what he says. And if you're wondering who's behind a lot of this plot or agenda that's going on, well, let's listen to what Venezuela has to say themselves. So I think this is whoever's in charge of the Maduro regime there right now. Obviously Maduro has been captured, but maybe, I'm not sure who this is, but it's somebody connected to the party, and this is their response to what happened. And notice how they specifically say that they're pretty much under Zionist attack. And of course, Zionists, Benjamin Netanyahu, Trump, and, the Rothschilds, those are your Zionists, the people who are putting forth an agenda to pretty much bring about the end of days scenario. Okay, so take a look at what Venezuela said themselves.
Del mundo están sencillamente impactados de que sea la República Bolivariana de Venezuela víctima y objeto de un ataque de esta naturaleza que tiene sin duda alguna tinte sionista. Es realmente vergonzoso. Lo dijo nuestro padre libertador en la Carta de Jamaica. El velo se ha rasgado, ya hemos visto la luz y se nos quiere volver a las tinieblas. Se han roto las cadenas, ya hemos sido libres y nuestros enemigos pretenden de nuevo esclavizarnos. Si hay algo que el pueblo venezolano y que este país tiene muy claro, es que jamás volveremos a ser esclavos. Se activa toda Venezuela y el decreto que ya fue suscrito por el presidente Maduro, único presidente de Venezuela. Hay un solo presidente en este país que se llama Nicolás Maduro Moro.
All right. So now you could see that's who they blame. That's Venezuela's words. Who's behind it all? So you got Benjamin Netanyahu pretty much saying that these Hezbollah and Hamas is in Venezuela pretty much. And Venezuela saying, oh, we're under Zionist attack. So I see the writing on the wall clear of what's probably going to happen, because guess what? When Joe Biden was in charge as if, but when he was playing his role, he had the borders wide open and so many people came in illegally, right? We know that happened. Well, the word on the streets is that many people were from Venezuela, illegals from Venezuela, and it's very possible that some of these people were Hamas and Hezbollah, and they've set up sleeper cells in the United States, and they're just waiting on their call to pretty much do an attack. And the attack will probably be in response to what Maduro, what just happened to him. Okay, and I hope this doesn't happen. Obviously, I don't want any of this stuff to happen, but we know they want their NWO, and they know they're willing to do whatever it takes to create chaos out of order. So it's pretty logical and makes sense that this may be what's coming. Okay, that already, just one day after we see protests in New York and multiple places throughout the United States of people protesting what the United States did to Venezuela. Which, hey, it should be protested, you know, regardless of what you think about Maduro, if he's a good guy or what he's doing to Venezuela. End of the day, it's none of the United States' business. They don't have to be the policemakers of the world and pretty much invade like they've always done and then install regime change, okay? No, they're not doing that because they care. They're doing it for their own ulterior motives when it comes to the reset and financial and resources. So it is something that should be protested, but my concern is these protests, it seems like, are all being funded by the Democrat Party, and there's pretty much an agenda behind that, okay? All being organized, because it seems like the American people don't really like to protest that much unless these protests were funded by George Soros or some kind of political thing, funded thing, okay? Like with January 6th and everything, okay? It seems that if it weren't some kind of outside involvement, the people really don't do much to protest anymore, and that's a damn shame, because there should be tons of protests. But I think people are so brainwashed in their MAGA trance, and who knows, maybe the Democratic left have some kind of, because I know they hate Trump, but maybe they have some kind of organic protest movement. But this, I got the funny feeling that this is all planned, and I think a lot of this resistance you're going to see is put together by deep state forces, okay? And I think this is all going to build up the attention, and I do believe at some point it's possible we might see some kind of event take place. And back to the Economist magazine, you'll notice the 250 birthday cake, which is July 4th, and you see coming from the ship like a bullet or something like that about to hit into the birthday cake. So to me, that means, are they trying to tell us there will be an attack on July 4th? I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. Maybe it'll be a lot sooner. Maybe we'll see retaliation a lot sooner because we already got Russia, Iran, China pissed off about this because they are allies of Venezuela and they buy oil off Venezuela. Imagine that. And now Trump's taking over and he's going to sell the oil and he's putting sanctions on Iran and China and everything. And I think U.S. is going to start getting sanctioned as well, which of course is economic warfare. So this is all part of the collapse, okay? This is all going towards this big collapse of the monetary order that I've been telling you guys so they could reset the system into CBDCs and stable coins, okay? The new financial system, the digital beast system, all right? This is all part of the plan. This is all part of the reset and, of course, to bring in this one world order. So we're seeing all this stuff play out in real time, my friends, just 3 days into 2026. And I just wanted to point out, be very skeptical about what you see and what you believe right now, because the psyops are so hardcore, all right? There's so much AI slop that's been being put out. For example, you got all over X people trying to make you believe, and even people like Elon Musk and Alex Jones, all these controlled opposition shills, are all out saying everybody in Venezuela is cheering in the streets that Maduro got captured. They want you to believe that this was a good thing, and the people are happy because Maduro was so evil and he's ruining people's lives, and this is a good thing, so don't be mad they did this. This had to happen. Oh yeah, the streets are just filled with people. Let's see some videos that went viral that have been posted by controlled opposition shills. Okay? The first two here are AI. Let me tell you that right now. This is pure AI trash. It's been verified. It ain't real. And this is what controlled opposition shills are posting. Take a look.
El pueblo finalmente está libre. El pueblo llora por su libertad. Gracias a los Estados Unidos por liberarnos. ¡Y viva la libertad! Oye, el dictador cayó. Finalmente, estamos libres, estamos libres. Lo logramos, hermano, me agarraron. Estoy llorando, de verdad. Nunca pensé en este día, mira esto. Todo Caracas en la calle, libre.
There you go. Question everything, my friends. Don't fall for this crap, all right? They're also sharing a lot of old videos from 2019. They want you to believe this is what the streets of Venezuela look like right now in celebration that Maduro has been captured. Take a look. Yeah, that video has been officially confirmed to be from 2019. There's been other videos showing people celebrating Venezuelans and stuff, saying, oh, that's in Venezuela. Some of those videos ended up being from the States, Venezuelans cheering in Florida or Miami. It wasn't even there. There's been videos showed of Chile from 2021 of people in the streets saying that's now. Nope, that's not what's going on. And it's people like Alex Jones sharing this garbage, because he is a controlled opposition shill. Sad to say. All right? So what's really going on there right now? Well, I got a clip of a real video of what's happening, and you'll see, if anything, it's support of Maduro and outrage against the United States, and people are actually in fear for their lives. Tons of videos coming out showing people going to grocery stores, stocking up on as much food and water as they can, because they're scared for their lives. All right, so I'm going to show you this video, but before I do, I just want to give a shout out to our sponsors down at OWELI, my friends. It's a new year, right? And why not start the new year off being healthy and getting your health under control? Well, my friends, OWELI CMOS has all 102 essential minerals and also vitamins as well. All right. It's a multi-mineral, multivitamin, and so good for your health. It'll give you energy. It helps in detoxification, high in iodine, good for the third eye. And it's just awesome all around for all around health, my friends. So definitely look into that. Or we got 10 shrooms, okay? Medicinal mushrooms. So great for your brain, good for immunity, detoxification, everything, all right? And if you take them together, you'll feel like $1,000,000. Let me just say that. Of course, it's not medical advice or anything like that. Speak to your own doctor. Make sure you don't have any allergies or anything like that. But if you're all clear, I'm telling you guys, these are game changers. All right. So the link is down below in the description. You get 15% off and free shipping in the United States. The links will tell you all the information about what it does and all its benefits too, so you can check that out. And yeah, of course, if you purchase that with my link, it helps old Linol out, and it helps you out as well. So link is down below. Check it out. All right, take a look at that video to see what's really going on in Venezuela. Take a look.
No les interesa ni la libertad ni la democracia, les interesa nuestro petróleo, les interesa nuestros recursos naturales.
De un acto criminal en la manera en que ha actuado los Estados Unidos y haber penetrado pues, el territorio venezolano.
Fue fuerte, pues caían en las montañas que bordean el fuerte Tiuna, y bueno, fue horrible, fue horrible.
I saw the helicopters, I saw the explosion, the fire going to the sky, disorder, the people run, the people take their cars and go to everywhere. And the people feel scared. We haven't electricity, power, telephone signal, internet. We are in a blackout.
There you go. And you know, I'm sure some videos going out showing some people happy that Maduro wasn't there are probably real, but it's not like tons of thousands of people in the streets cheering. It's not like that at all. Yeah, there'll be a few people putting out videos by themselves being like, "Oh yeah, we're happy," maybe small little groups, but for the most part people are scared, my friends. They're not celebrating. They didn't want this. They don't want the United States come in. They know what happens to countries when the United States goes to liberate them. These countries get destroyed because it's happened many times throughout history. They're not hooting and hollering, "Oh, Trump is going to save us." No. That's what they want you to believe because they don't want pushback on what they're doing. But the truth couldn't be further from that. Okay? And you know what? I even question Maduro. Obviously I do, because the world is a stage, and they're all actors, and I think he's in on this as well. Why the hell has he been changed so many times? Look, these are 4 separate pictures that they put out of the capture of Maduro, and he's got different clothes on in every single one of them. Why? Why are they capture him? No, let's change you this time, change you that time, change you this time. Then they released new videos today, and he's in even more different outfits, all within 24 hours. Why? And why is he giving thumbs up? Oh, like he's all happy. You see the videos, he doesn't seem concerned at all. Just seems like he's hanging out with his buddies. How many of these images are AI generated and not even real? The images and the videos coming out. You got to question everything. There's so much AI stuff out there now. It's just unreal. You can't believe anything's real, really. You got to question everything and use your heart to figure out what's real, because there's so much deception going on right now, my friends. But one thing's for sure, I think he's an actor in on it. And like I said, this is all orchestrated to pretty much do a massive wealth transfer, form a one world government, and to eventually the end game is to implement this digital beast system with a financial reset, new digital currencies, CBDCs, stable coins. And that's what they want by 2030. And of course the North American Union and all that one world government. So that's what's all going on, my friends. So what can you do? Well, very important, don't fall into the lower vibrations and the drama, because right now people are picking sides. We got people, I stand with Venezuela, people, I stand with Trump, I stand with Trump, right? The cultists, the MAGA cultists, they will support Trump no matter what he does, which is sad. But and then they're fighting with each other. No, Maduro is a communist, he's this and that, this had to happen, other people, no, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Here's the solution. Don't even choose a side. MAGA cultists, they're cult members. The right, it's government. The other side, government. Stand for the truth. Just be an observer. Don't get dragged into the fighting and the arguing with these people. We know the truth. We know that both sides are actors and in control of the dark ones. Okay? Or the dark ones are in control of them. They're just puppets on the stage. We know this is all an orchestrated event to usher in this one world government and this beast system. We know it's just a movie playing out. Okay? So be neutral. Don't get dragged into the fighting and the drama. People are doing it in my comment sections on Facebook. And I tell you, I don't even have time. I don't even read the comments anymore for the most part. I could care less what a bunch of NPCs or unconscious people have to say about the situation. I'm there just to put the truth out. They could take it or leave it, but anybody with half a brain cell knows what this is all about, which I'm going to show you at the end of today's video very shortly why this is all happening. Okay? But just know you don't want to be getting pulled into the drama. Keep your frequency high. Prepare. Stock up on food and water, because you don't want to end up like these people when shit does hit the fan and a big blackout happens in the United States or wherever, Europe, you know. You don't want to be these people, once it already happens, lining up outside grocery stores trying to get food and water. Be prepared already, all right? And also, not financial advice, but you should be probably thinking about getting your money out of the banks, which will crash. Your currency, your paper money will become worthless, and move it into real assets, whether that's gold, silver, or you know how I've been talking lots about investing in the new financial systems coming, because we're not going to stop it. It's already here. It's already set in place. So if you put your money into the real assets, or the real crypto assets that are the CBDCs and the digital IDs and the tokenization is going to be running on, stuff like XRP, XLM, HBAR, right now, well, it's still cheap before it takes off to crazy highs. Well, that may be your saving grace from having to be reliant on the universal basic income, stable coins, and CBDCs. You'll be able to operate on what the elites are going to be operating on. Very rare opportunity you have right now. So research XRP, XLM, HBAR, even Bitcoin, stuff like that. All these coins are going to set a lot of people, the 1% of the world who chooses to look into that right now, I think that's going to set up a lot of people so they can have a lot more wealth and freedom in the future to, you know, it won't be complete freedom, but you'll be able to be a lot more comfortable than the people who are going to be stuck on a UBI and pretty much in a state of struggling and having to comply with everything the government says, or else pretty much be depopulated. And they probably will be depopulated because they'll have to get their you-know-what so they could get their universal basic income. Get the old jabberoo, right? So don't be that person. Invest wisely into things that will give you wealth in the future so you are not going to have to struggle and be forced on those systems. And if you've done those things, also, you know, look into having a safe place to live. That's why if you invest smartly now, maybe in the future you could get out of a big city, because the big cities are going to go down first. So it'd be good to get yourselves into a small town or out in rural areas, right? Because you don't want to be in the big cities when shit hits the fan. Okay? So if you can do all these things, do whatever you can to prepare and make sure you're prepared for what's coming. And then you don't have anything to worry about. All you got to work on then at that point is keeping your frequency high, not being dragged into the drama, and just being the observer. And just know this is all just a big illusion at the end of the day, and work on going on that ascension timeline where you will ultimately transcend this matrix. And whenever it comes to an end, well, hopefully you could exit completely and not be forced back into a new world order, a new simulation once the matrix reset happens, where or reincarnated back into this realm, whatever you want to call it. You don't want that to happen. You want to work on completely breaking free of the illusion. Okay? So once you have all your physical needs and everything all set up where you're in a safe place, away from all that crap, then you could work on the spiritual aspect. You could work on the spiritual aspect while doing all that as well. Of course, I encourage you guys that as well, but obviously it'll be a lot more easier to get into your spiritual Zen mode, right? When all this chaos, when you're not in the middle of the chaos, worrying about financial stuff, worrying about your own physical safety, right? So we got to make sure we're doing things to prepare so we're not caught in that chaotic situation. All right. So that's about it for my portion of the video, and I'm going to end today's video with another video by Dan Dix, and he's going to explain everything that's going on. I do encourage you guys to subscribe to his YouTube channel as well, because he's got great videos, Press for Truth. All right. So yeah, that's it, my friends. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And like I said, subscribe if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to survive. And if you'd like to buy me a coffee, I'm on the website Buy Me a Coffee. That's right, there it is. A link is down below in the description. And I always like to give back as a thank you. So I will send you some free Patreon videos to your email as a thanks. All right? Also, I got a link to Patreon down there as well. So you could check out Patreon if you want to support that way as well. But of course, what means most to Lionel is that you just hit that like button and subscribe and leave a comment and let me know what you guys thought about today's video. So there you go. That's all I have to say for today. And Dan Dix, Press for Truth, take it away. You'll see it starts with Trump speaking on regime change, then versus now. And it's very ironic, but I've been telling you guys, politicians lie. They tell you what you want to hear, and then they do the complete opposite. This is why you don't vote. You don't put your trust into the government, because they're liars. And it's sad that some people thought Trump was different. So I hope people are waking up now, because it's right in your face. But yeah, so you'll see that, and then Dan Dix finishes off the video. So here you go, my friends. Until next time, Lionel signing off.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. Our current strategy of nation building and regime change is a proven absolute failure.
We will break the cycle of regime change.
We must abandon the failed policy of nation building and regime change that Hillary Clinton pushed in Iraq, in Libya, in Egypt, and in Syria. Regime change takes chaos.
You've seen how that works over the last 20 years. That hasn't been too good. Not a reckless interventionist globalism.
We're getting out of the nation-building business. We're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place.
Are you really that surprised, though? They lied about Pearl Harbor. They lied about WMDs in Iraq. They lied about Gaddafi in Libya. They lied about the Gulf of Tonkin. They lied about the Iran-Contra affair. They lied about chemical weapons in Syria. But sure, this time it's definitely about drugs. So what is this really all about? What's really going on here? Well, I'm going to break it all down for you right now. The US just launched a full-scale military assault on Venezuela overnight. They bombed Caracas and captured Nicolas Maduro and his wife in a pre-dawn raid. The most brazen act of American imperialism since Iraq. And I'm going to tell you the truth that they don't want you to hear. That this isn't about drugs. This isn't about terrorism. This isn't even about so-called democracy. This was a desperate, panic-stricken fight for the survival of the dying US dollar, the petrodollar system that has kept America on top for the last 50 years. And Venezuela had the potential to administer the death blow. Here's a visualization of all of the world's oil reserves by country, and as you can see, Venezuela comes out on top in the #1 position with an estimated 303 billion barrels of oil reserves. That's the largest reserves on Earth. They have more than Saudi Arabia, 20% of the world's supply. But Maduro wasn't playing the dollar game anymore. And that's the part that really matters. Venezuela was actively ditching the dollar. Back in 2018, they announced that they had freed themselves from the dollar. They started selling that massive oil stash in Chinese yuan and euros and rubles, anything but US dollars. They were pushing hard to join the BRICS nations, building direct payment channels with China that completely bypassed the SWIFT system. And with all that oil, they could fund this de-dollarization push for decades. That's not just a threat. That's a direct assault on the foundation of American power. So why does any of this matter? Because the entire US financial system is built on one fragile pillar, the petrodollar. In 1974, Henry Kissinger struck a deal with the Saudis. All global oil sales must be priced in US dollars. In return, America would provide military muscle. That agreement created fake demand for dollars everywhere. Every country needed dollars to buy oil. You challenge that, and watch what happens. There's a clear pattern here, my friends. Leaders who dare to mess with it don't last long. Just look at the pattern. Saddam Hussein switched to euros for buying oil, and he gets invaded and killed. Gaddafi pushed a gold dinar, and he gets bombed and brutalized, with Libya in chaos. And now Maduro, with 5 times their oil combined, who was partnering with the de-dollarization axis, China, Russia, and Iran all challenged the dollar, and the bombs fall. This isn't random, guys. If you challenge the petrodollar, you get regime changed every single time. But here's the deeper crisis that no one is talking about. The petrodollar is already on life support. Russia's been selling oil in rubles and the yuan since the Ukraine mess. Saudi Arabia is openly talking about yuan settlements. Iran's been off the dollar for years. China's CIPS system hooks up over 4,800 banks in 185 countries with no SWIFT needed. The BRICS nations are rolling out payment systems that sideline the dollar completely. If Venezuela joins the BRICS nations with those 303 billion barrels of oil, it'll supercharge the whole thing. That's why this invasion is happening now. Not because of drugs. Venezuela plays a very minor role in the transshipment of cocaine to the United States. It's not about terrorism. There's zero proof that Maduro is running a terror group. And it's not about democracy. The US backs Saudi Arabia with 0 elections. It's all about clinging to that 50-year-old deal that allows America to just print cash while the world toils. And the fallout is already exploding. Russia, China, and Iran are all calling this armed aggression. China is furious because Venezuela was their top oil supplier, which means billions have been lost overnight. The BRICS nations just watched one of their hopefuls get bombed for ditching the dollar. So the message to the global south is clear. If you trade outside of dollars, we're going to come for you. Every country now knows this. The empire is enforcing its currency with bombs and raids. So the only safety for them now is to build alternatives even faster, to align with BRICS, and to hoard gold, and to trade local. When everyone sees the petrodollar propped up by midnight airstrikes and raids, that means that America just exposed its weakness. You don't invade and abduct leaders to defend a strong currency. You do it when it's dying. So the question now is, how ugly is this fall going to get? And are we soon going to see a global CBDC, a central bank digital currency, to be the answer to all this chaos? And is that what they wanted all along? That's what it looks like to me, folks. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. And guys, I've been telling you to get your money out of dollars and into gold and silver for years. In fact, in 2023 and 2024, I put out dozens of videos suggesting that you make this move. And now just look at what happened in 2025. Gold went up by 70%. And silver went up by 145%. Congratulations to everyone who made the move. And this is not about to slow down anytime soon. I mean, just look at what's happening in the world. So right now, if you go to pressfortruth.ca/gold, you're going to find the guys who have been working with the suppliers who I've been dealing with for over a decade now. Visit pressfortruth.ca/gold and protect your wealth with precious metals, guys. You can find the link to pressfortruth.ca/gold in the description. These guys not only have the best hookups for physical gold and silver, but they also offer the best vaulting services I've ever come across. So if you're interested in investing in gold or silver, it's definitely not too late. In fact, I think now is a great time to get involved, as 2026 is shaping up to prove that 2025 was just the beginning. Share this story, guys, before they bury it. Let the truth explode louder than those bombs. And stay vigilant, my friends, because the real war for the future of money itself has just gone hot. Thanks for watching, guys.